So, so if you're new, I'm Jeremiah. Hi. Uh, Last video I got a reply or a comment on my Facebook about the video. It was the video I did about the theory. I don't have the. I erased the board, but you go back and watch the video. Even the thumbnail's got like the board that I drew on it, and it's got the picture of the theory and the circumpunct idea and stuff like that. So I wanted to read this comment because I love, man, I want comments from you guys. I want to know where things need to be clarified and stuff, and where I lacked, because some of these videos only like 15 minutes long or something like that. I could do a conference for like a week-long conference talking about the theory, just explaining all the nooks and crannies, and it's a lot. So I'm just introducing things, introducing concepts, and this was one of them. And clearly it needed clarification, or needs clarification, because of this comment that I got. But I also appreciate and value his criticism and suggestions, which is why I'm here. So this video is for you, brother. Dude's name is Brandon. I'm not gonna divulge any more information than that, because just like to respect people's privacy and all that. But anyways, Brandon says the following about my previous video. As of right now, your theory is stuck in a duality, which you must first resolve to get closer to truth. The circumpunct symbol is not heaven around hell. That is to say, it is not just heaven around hell. It is also hell around heaven, and less symbolically, the orbit of the earth around the sun, instead of only the atmosphere around the earth, around the core. It is also many other things. Lessons from another important and similar symbol, the Taijitu, Taijitu, uh, essentially the yin yang symbol. But I'm assuming that's the Japanese version for the name of it or something. Just based off of like the way the languages, I know a little bit about languages, and it just sounds kind of Japanese. Anyways, need to be understood and integrated. That two or more directions are always simultaneously true. Before some of the insights you're growing with really start to flower, you are on a good track, though. Can rewind and listen to that again. Let it sink in. Just kind of put yourself in the man's position. So he's right, especially at the end there, when he's talking about the two or more positions always being true or whatever. It's like when you're in a mirror and you're looking in a mirror, and a movement in the mirror appears to move in the opposite direction of which you're moving. Like right now, I'm moving right to left, and it's the camera, being the observer, is seeing it differently because it's on the other side. You know what I mean? But it's, try to wrap your head around that idea, how the idea of how something could be moving in both one direction and the other simultaneously. There's technicalities behind it. That's actually part of my scientific paper I'm writing, talks about that. But it's a truth. And when he's speaking about those layers, the heaven within hell and stuff like that, There's another popular symbol, the Ouroboros, which is the snake eating its tail. And um, it's like a cyclical sort of thing that goes around on infinity. And so, in order to get to quote unquote heaven, or to get to a next level or whatever, whether you're moving up or down in the hierarchy of dimensions, that you can get there from either direction. So if you're on a circle, you could go through what is considered hell to get to the same location as going through what one would consider to be heaven to get to the same location. You dig what I'm saying? It's like there's like a Buddhist, I want to say it's Buddhist, might also be Indian concept, where there's that that's kind of where the idea of the left hand path comes from, being like going with the darker side of things to achieve the enlightenment versus doing things through the passive. It's kind of like if in Star Wars, all of the Jedi and all of the people, Force users, had like a maximum enlightened level that they all were attempting to achieve, and the like the Sith, the Jedi, and the Gray Jedi all like had different ideas on how to achieve that, and they did that through like the dark side of the Force. You could achieve it through that, or you could achieve it through the light side, or by finding balance and as a gray Jedi or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Uh, so, and what he's saying also too about like it being stuck in duality. First, I didn't want to get that impression across. See, that's one of the things that quite often people take to heart when they hear someone speak about dualities. They quite often, it's conceived in the mind that they think the person only believes in dualities, like that is all that exists. But let me show you this book I got here. It may be of some interest, especially to the people that's into magic. Back in the day, I found like a comprehensive reference book online, and I wanted to buy it. It was super freaking expensive, and I don't always have the money to throw down. I only make $10 an hour, so it's kind of rough. Well, it's $10.50. Let's be fair. I gotta throw that 50 cents on there. I can't be talking shit. It's $10.50 an hour. Anyways, how much I get paid is neither here nor there. I can't afford expensive books. So there is this one by Skinner, I think it is. The It's like a magic compendium book that it's got like all of the references with all of the planetary stuff and the astrological stuff and the numbers and like pretty much anything at all that had to do with magic. It was in there. And I really wanted it, but I couldn't get it. And there's this magic joint I go to sometimes in Dunkirk. I'm pretty sure it's Dunkirk. It's out near there, Fredonia, maybe. I don't know. It's called Lady of the Lake. Shout out to Patty, if you're watching this. But anyways, I went out there, and sitting on the shelf was this bad boy here called The Magician's Compendium, a practical and encyclopedic guide to magical and religious symbolism. And I picked it up, and the book is $24.95, dude. I was like, man, that's way better than the $70 I was gonna pay for the other one. So I scooped it, and it is freaking cool, man. It's got all the alphabets in it and stuff like that. It's got like alchemical symbols, dude. It's a dope book. I highly recommend. But anyways, one of the features of this book is it kind of goes through it in like not an alphabetical order, but like a numerical order. Like they essentially make it seem as like from the very start, they start talking about it from number 0, and then check out magical systems and what cross references with that within other magical systems. Here, I'll show you. Let me just get to the page. Would you just relax? Okay. All right. Let's see. Symbols of higher man. It's the beginning of this deep end. All right, here it is. Magical models. It's in section 2. The first part's got a bunch of stuff. Zipper keeps tapping up against that. Sorry, y'all. All right. So, anyways, in magical models, once you open it up, model 0, the void, and then it talks about that. As you can see, there's some Hebrew there, and it's essentially talking about like what they and other religions and magical systems think about that number and its stuff. And then it goes on to model 1, where it talks about the 1 and so on and so forth. And then after that, we'll look at in model 1, at the end of model 1, it drops some of that circumpunct action on us there. Anyways, then it gets into this model 2 here, and then, look, what do we have there? Dualities. And there's the symbol he was talking about. So, as you can see, as the models go in this book, just my theory is the same way. Like, I'm not stupid when it comes to this stuff. I know a bit, and I would like to have the gaps filled in by folks like Brandon, guys that know some stuff that maybe I don't know, and at least open up these discussions with each other so that we can kind of to talk about it. But yeah, that duality thing that he's talking about, there's more than just duality. There's dualities, there's singularities where there's oneness, and there's nothingness, and there's like these things all exist and coexist with each other and not use, but like their coexistence with each other allows them to, like, they make each other what each other is. For instance, the oneness makes the nothingness, and nothingness makes the oneness, and both together make the duality, yada yada. You know what I'm saying? You get it? And so the last thing I'll touch on before I finish this is he's talking about the heavens thing. And that is true also. It's not just a thing that is an earthly thing where we have a heaven and hell here. It's like, don't be fooled by the cross, okay? Like, I'm here to discuss this stuff for real. And yes, there's truth in our religious texts and stuff like that, but it is our job to get to the bottom of that truth by, interpreting this stuff accurately and helping each other to do so. So this is not like a thing where we're here to judge each other and stuff like that. I mean, if you want to sit here and bitch about my ideas and say that I'm heretical in the things that I'm saying, you go right ahead, man. You say your piece. It's all cool. But I think I've decided through this the direction I want the channel to go. And the direction I think I want to take it is a direction I don't think many do in either the scientific community or the community that has to do with magic and esoteric stuff. And I want to create a branch between the two that finds the links and the connections that they both have. Hopefully, to find new avenues to think within science, and also to add clarity, and to better understand how magic works and what applications it can have on our lives and stuff. You know, I've heard some people say that science has little to do with magic or nothing to do with magic or something. And I think that's, I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. Especially when you have things like alchemy and stuff like that. These used to be married together. These were things that we studied all as one. These scholars were people that went to big giant religious centers where all of the scriptures and books were at, and they learned how to write and read and learned sciences and things in conjunction with spirituality and stuff, because it's real and it has a real side to it. It's just been washed down by a bunch of new age weirdos that want to make a quick buck and want to cosplay as wizards and witches, you know. And I'm just curious, and I hope you guys are. And if you are, man, subscribe and like and stuff, and get on board, man. Let's have these discussions. Let's talk about this stuff and make the connections. So back to what Brandon was saying about the heaven and hell thing. That extends outside of that. That alchemical symbol of the circumpunct. This guy here. That is also known or used to represent the sun. And he was right in saying that. In alchemy, it means sun. And I've got a theory about that. Maybe I'll get in depth on that one day about the whole relation of the circumpunct, the sun, and the universe. Because, I don't know, I have speculations and questions and whatnot. However, what he's talking about there is a nesting that happens. It's like a Matryoshka doll, a Russian nesting doll, where things are enclosed and encapsulated inside of other things. And our dimension is the third dimension, encapsulated within higher dimensions. And when it comes to the concept of heaven and hell, there is one that is our atmosphere and our core, but like he said, there is also one that is in relation to other stuff. I'm assuming the sun and the outer region of our solar system. I have speculations about that. I want to try to come, when it comes to scientifically, to some clarification with that, to where that actual outer perimeter of that solar being would be, of that solar region, because I have speculations that it has to do with that there's like a space in between two of the planets. I want to say it's Jupiter and Saturn, maybe. I don't know. There's some asteroid belt or something like that that kind of like hangs out there. It's even been speculated that it was a planet that blew up or something, or some debris from a moon, or I don't know. But I speculate that perhaps that there's some importance there, like maybe that's the outer thing, and it doesn't actually extend all the way out to like Pluto or something like that. There's a lot of interesting discussion to be had with where borders and barriers exist when it comes to that sort of thing. But like just what the discussion we're having, and like Brandon said, there's like a heaven outside of our solar system that's like a higher region, and then down at the very core of our solar system, the sun being essentially like the core of our planet, like in regard to like it's the same, serves the same purpose. It serves the same purpose for the solar system that our core serves for our planetary system. And then there's a galactic system, and there's a core to our galaxy and an outer region to that, and then our galaxy participates in its own little Matryoshka doll that it's inside of, and then that is inside of other stuff, and yada yada, out to the ends of the universe. um and the infinity of that just has to do with that Ouroboros, that looping back around. um But, I've talked enough. I'm trying to keep these short, and I feel like I covered his question pretty good. Or, it's not really a question, his statement. I went over it good. And it was a good one, man. I really appreciate this, Brandon. It's awesome, brother. Thank you so much. I if you ever see any of my videos on Facebook, I'd really appreciate it if like you got a comment or something if you left it on the YouTube. I'm trying to grow that up a little bit more. And on Facebook, you know, I don't get the stats or anything on my YouTube for anything that happens on Facebook. So it'd be sweet if you comment. If you like it, let me know about it. Um, I hope this was good and informative and stuff. And like I said in my other video, I got vacation coming up. I'm doing Serpent Mound pilgrimage. Headed out there for the solstice. So it's gonna be a good time, man. I really enjoy it. But yeah, I'll bop back on here in a little bit and talk about some more stuff. I don't know. It's a lot I've been thinking about. There's topics I want to go over that aren't necessarily magic or science related. And I don't want to get too political or anything, so I'm not going to get into politics per se, but we're going to be skirting the line probably. Because, again, as per the theory, the morality of the planet matters. And so we need to get our stuff together and work on this so that we don't implode the planet or whatever. You dig? All right. Well, I'll see you when I see you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.